Hello again, fellow scary people of the internet. How are we all doing today? Did anyone drink enough water? If not, feel free to pause this, pour yourself a glass, and return. Hydrate or dehydrate, folks. That's also just a reminder for myself, if I'm being honest with y'all. Your girl drinks way too many energy drinks on a regular basis, and I'm trying to curb it. I swear. I promise. Before my friends jump through the screen and, Speaking of myself, I'm Alexa, local ooky spooky girly, here today to talk about some dashcam footage, which is kind of a new topic for me, but I love challenging myself from time to time. I hope you're all ready, because welcome to the top 5 scary videos caught on dashcam. In 5th place, we have a ghost in Arizona. Decided to kick today off with the most recent video on the list, and it just so happens to be the most unexplainable video as well. On Saturday, March 11th of this year, William Church, a professional truck driver who regularly drove on Arizona State Route 87, noticed a bright glare in his dashcam, and he thinks the flashing figure is a ghost. Now, he's described himself as someone who has seen a lot of weird stuff during his travels, but he's been able to make sense or explain away everything except for the specific spotting. The specter was spotted at around 2:30 a.m. while William drove past the highway's 200-mile marker, which is located between Phoenix and Payson, Arizona, and since it was that very ungodly hour, there was no one on the road. He captured something weird on his Nextcar dashcam, which is apparently a leading dashcam brand, and we have the footage. Heads up, it's only 6 seconds long, so time to pay attention now. And now that we're back from those seconds, I shall continue. He is positive the translucent figure y'all just saw looks like a person just standing in the roadway, explaining that he can see the lines through the legs that make up the figure. A little context on the area. Arizona State Route 87 is a north to south highway that was constructed in 1927 and measures approximately 272.66 miles. For those of us that know stuff in kilometers, good luck with your conversion. The north end travels to State Route 264 near Second Mesa, a census-designated place in Arizona, while the south end travels to Interstate 10 near Picacho, an unincorporated community and census-designated place in Arizona. Many fatal car accidents have happened on the 96-year-old highway, which has reportedly led some locals to believe that the road could be haunted. Ooh, okay. Don't drive there. A recent fatal car crash happened on Arizona State 87 near milepost 201 in early February, and the exact cause of the crash is still unknown. The two-vehicle collision resulted in the death of one person near Bush Highway, which is east of Fountain Hills, a town in Maricopa County. Valley Chevy dealers in Phoenix named State Route 87 as one of Arizona's most dangerous roads for its beeline-like route that has a lot of looping turns. So viewers who have seen William's video on YouTube claim they've seen a lot of this supernatural activity on Arizona highways and in other public spaces. Speaking as someone who possesses a driver's license and doesn't really drive in the city, I'm not necessarily a nervous driver, but I'm a very cautious one who hates major highways. So I'm very glad none of the main roads where I live are cursed. Okay, they're cursed to undergo construction forever or never, but not with death. If they are, someone better tell me before I get in the driver's seat of a car ever again. So, if you know, let me know down in the comments. In 4th place, we have footage from a Vietnamese tornado. I remember when I was younger, I didn't know the difference between like a tornado and a hurricane, and my dad had to explain to me that a tornado is a violently rotating column of air that is in contact with both the surface of the earth and a cloud, while a hurricane is formed over water. They both cause, massive amounts of damage in a torrential downpour, but they're different enough from each other. A tornado is also commonly referred to as a twister, and my brain immediately jumped to The Wizard of Oz, one of my favorite films of all time. Tornadoes come in many shapes and sizes, and they are often visible in the form of a condensational funnel originating from the base of a cloud, with a cloud of rotating debris and dust beneath it. The footage I have to show y'all today shows a tornado, or twister, wreaking havoc over the Bac Ninh province in northern Vietnam. And I'll let your minds be boggled now before I forget. No casualties have been reported, but the whole area looks like a ghost town, with the storm visible from up to 4 kilometers away. As the driver gradually reverses from the storm, the dashboard camera captures metal sheets flying away, trees falling, buildings collapsing, and the tornado completely flattening the entire area. Quang Tung, an engineer working near the area, said that the tornado broke many trees and utility poles and blew off many iron sheet roofs. When it was over, the entire residential area was a mess. For reference, most tornadoes have wind speeds less than 180 kilometers per hour and are about 80 meters across and several kilometers deep and travel several kilometers before dissipating. The most extreme tornadoes can attain wind speeds of more than 480 kilometers per hour, are more than 3 kilometers in diameter, and stay on the ground for more than 100 kilometers. That's a heck of a lot of quick damage. In 3rd place, we have a Plague of Locusts. Heads up to anyone that gets squeamish from seeing a lot of bugs. I'd recommend jumping ahead to 2nd place right about now before I show the footage, because this one almost made me lose my lunch. Seriously, I don't do well with bugs. At all. And before someone in the comments jumps in, I don't think this is a sign of the end times just yet, but hey, let me know if there are more signs of those showing up. The incident happened in the Teremovsky district of southwestern Russia's Republic of Dagestan back in 2017. And heck, at the time, the Minister of Food and Agriculture declared a national emergency since 112,000 hectares of land were lost to the insects. For reference, an average swarm of locusts can consume the same amount of food as 10 elephants or 2,500 people, as well as being able to travel distances of up to 130 kilometers in one day. Well, the temptation to hide in my apartment and never leave it again is starting to kick in for me. How about anyone else? The toe-curling footage initially looks like a sandstorm, but it soon becomes clear that it is a massive locust invasion, and I'll let the footage play so you can scream with me. The thick swarm of bugs halted the driver in Dagestan, Russia on an otherwise, quiet road. An online viewer calling himself Ruslan said, "It reminds me of something. The region is either hit by a storm or bugs, and maybe someone dug out a mummy and opened its sarcophagus." I swear to goodness gracious, if this is because someone ticked off a mummy, I will lecture you to hell and back. I don't know how many times I have to come on the interwebs and say it, but leave the dead alone. Do not disturb. I'm all for peacefully exploring and excavating history, but for the love of humanity, do it carefully and respectfully under the guidance of local experts that can keep the peace. At this rate, I'm gonna have to do a video series on why we should leave sleeping tombs lie, since apparently it isn't the common sense statement I thought it was. In second place, we have a Russian meteor. Something I didn't know before today is that almost everyone in Russia has dash cams installed in their vehicles because of the sheer amount of accidents and corrupt law and regulations, which is why video compilations from there are so popular. The Chelyabinsk meteor was a super bolide that entered Earth's atmosphere over the southern Ural region in Russia on February 15th of 2013. It was caused by an approximately 18-meter diameter, 9,100 ton near-Earth asteroid that entered the atmosphere. The light from the meteor was briefly brighter than the sun, visible at as far as 100 kilometers away. It was observed in a wide area of the region and in neighboring republics. Some eyewitnesses also reported feeling intense heat from the fireball. The object exploded in a meteor airburst over Chelyabinsk Oblast at a height at about 29.7 kilometers that generated a bright flash, producing a hot cloud of dust and gas and many surviving small fragmentary meteorites. Most of the object's energy was absorbed by the atmosphere, creating a large shock wave. This was 26 to 33 times as much energy that released from the atomic bomb detonated at Hiroshima. Before I continue to prattle on facts and whatnot, here's the video in question. What boggles my mind the most is that no one really reacts. You see people still driving, casually crossing the street, and just going about their day. If I saw that in the sky, you can bet I probably would have crashed a car, or at the very least, stopped outright in traffic. The object approached Earth undetected before its atmospheric entry, in part because its radiant was close to the sun. Its explosion apparently created panic among local residents, and 1,491 people were injured seriously enough to seek medical treatment. Even though we don't see the panic in this footage, around 7,200 buildings in 6 cities across the region were damaged by the explosion's shockwave, and authorities scrambled to help repair the structures in sub-freezing temperatures. With an estimated initial mass of about 12 to 13,000 tons and measuring about 20 meters in diameter, it is the largest known natural object to have entered Earth's atmosphere since the 1908 Tunguska event, which destroyed a wide, remote, forested, and very sparsely populated area of Siberia. This meteor is also the only meteor confirmed to have resulted in many injuries, but thankfully no deaths. But, keepers. And finally, in first place, the 2016 killer clown footage. As someone who is friends with a lot of creepy clowns, heck, I've been one myself, 2016 was a rough year to be a clown. The 2016 clown sighting incidents were reported in the United States, Canada, Australia, and subsequently in other countries and territories starting in August of 2016. The sightings were first reported in Green Bay, Wisconsin, in what turned out to be a marketing stunt for a horror film. Go figure. The phenomenon later spread to many other cities in the US, and by mid-October, clown sightings and attacks have been reported in nearly all US states, 9 out of 13 provinces and territories here in Canada, and 18 other countries. Here, watch the video now before I start fuming over clown rights, and then we can break it down after. The haunting footage shows the masked monster emerging from a motorway underpass and standing in the middle of the road, waving creepily at the halted car. When the figure starts walking towards the vehicle, the scared male driver tries to reverse away, but then the crazed clown makes a sudden dash towards the family in the car who were returning home from a pub dinner. After backing up far enough, the panicked driver puts his foot down and speeds towards the clown, who jumps out of the road a split second before being mowed down by the car. In the original Facebook post, the wife of the driver wrote that the incident took place at Grange Mill Lane when they were confronted by this person coming out from the underpath tunnel and charging at them. I'm fuming. As much as I love a good killer clown, such as my very best friend Buttons the Clown, there's a reason they only exist in controlled, fictional situations. I'm not the type of gal to wish actual harm on people and just excuse me, I've lost track of words in this state. And that brings us to the end of our list, and I'll stick with staying on public transit for the time being. No interest in getting back in the driver's seat of a car anytime soon. Let me know in the comments if any of you folks out there have any dashcam stories. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more from us here at Top 5 Scary Videos.